episode 6 of Anime and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is the review show that reviews anime from A to Z. Sort of.
Last episode, we spun the wheel for Category D, and it gave us Divergence Eve. Divergence Eve is a science fiction story set in the far future, incorporating aspects of space opera. I didn't see that at all in this, and the show kind of sucks. But, a little more information. It was licensed by ADV Films in 2005 to 2009. Its original run was in 2003 in Japan. I think that's, there's really nothing special about it. The directors and the writers were, in my opinion, no one special. They didn't do anything crazy after or before. So let's jump into it.
All right. So where do you want to start with this piece of crap?
Man, I don't know.
I mean, this...
It's not as bad as 801. Is anything, really.
Well, see, here's the thing. I agree with you, but at least 801 was terrible and made me hate it. This made me feel nothing. I was bored a lot of the time.
It was very boring. It was hard to watch because it was just so bland.
And sometimes that's worse than being angry. So it's I can't say it's worse than 801, but it's definitely second.
Yeah.
It's like right above it. So I don't know. Where do you want to start with this one? I guess start with the premise.
Yeah, the premise. It's set in the, 2317, something like that?
Yeah, sometimes it's set in 2017, and...
Yeah, every now and then, it like in the beginning of the episodes, it'll take place in 2017.
No, it starts in 2017, the flashbacks in the
Yes.
beginning, and then it slowly...
And it sort of, explains the, how they're able to travel through this wormhole that they have. They never really call it a wormhole, but that's what it is. So in 2017, they see this wormhole thing, and then they start investigating it and everything. And that's pretty much the progress of the beginning of each episode for a few minutes of each episode. It's just 2017, them seeing it, each episode it progresses, they get a little closer to it, they go in, blah, 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 blah. That might be a bit more interesting than anything else, actually.
Yeah, and then in the future, they're all in they're in a different solar system, right?
Oh, yeah, they gotta be.
They're in a different solar system.
I don't know if they ever actually said they were, but I mean, what's the point in using a wormhole if you're just traveling in the same solar system?
I think they did mention it a couple times.
Okay.
But they're in a different solar system on a space station with pilots for some reason experimenting with these wormholes, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know if they're experimenting with the wormhole so much as they know that there's a danger to them, that the wormhole crosses through different dimensions, and that those pilots are there to defend it, but they don't tell the pilots what they're there to do. The only people that know are very high command and the leader of the Seraphim pilots.
Oh, right, and they're fighting the ghouls.
The ghouls are some weird creature from a different dimension that anytime you use the portal... or not use the portal, apparently, they can sort of leak through it and come into our dimension. Yeah. So that's what the pilots are for, they're to stop the ghouls.
Now, before we go any further with the story, we have to talk about the 3D animation.
Yeah, well, real quick, that's pretty much the entire story. That's it. The pilots are there to stop the ghouls, and, I mean, that's kind of the entire progress.
Oh, yeah, because they spent about 9/10 of this show just talking.
Yeah, some of it's training, but it's stupid loose training. They don't really show you anything.
I mean, there's a couple of really bloody horror scenes in it, but it's not enough.
Yeah, it's really, and it's not well done.
No.
Anyway, yeah, bad CG animation. Early 2000 era CG.
I mean, it goes from CG to...
And the art itself, when it's just drawn, is fine. I mean, for its time, it's perfectly fine. I don't know why they chose to use shitty CG.
Except when they use the same animation over and over.
Use the same... So, not for the important parts, but, if someone's turning to say something, it'll be the same animation for that person to turn 6 or 7 times.
And it's very noticeable because the fan service in this one is strong.
It's strong with this one, yes.
And every time this one character turns, it's the same animation, and her boobs just jiggle.
And all she's doing is sitting on a wheelchair and turning, I don't know, a quarter counterclockwise, and boobs flop in the air.
Yeah, so that stood out.
There's a little bit, I'd say there's a little bit more than a little bit of nudity, but it's there. It's not really sexualized, but it is there.
It's there for fan service. This is the epitome of fan service, if you ask me.
The one girl's being attacked inside her mech and all her clothes rip off. Why?
Because that's just how it happens, apparently. I don't know. I have trouble with this whole anime because it is the most convoluted story I have ever watched ever.
And the dialogue is so bad. It's just disengaged. There's lines that make no sense. There's lines that make perfect sense, and then the line after that makes no sense. the people talking to each other, it's almost like they're not talking to each other. It's really weird.
The second to last episode in this, no, maybe it was the last episode. There was just, I was so lost. I had no idea what was going on.
It's not like we're slow or anything. It's just that the anime is really broken.
And it was, what else was broken? The first episode was literally almost the last episode, and I called that right from the beginning.
Yeah, you really did. And you know what? That is a common thing in a lot of stories and TV shows, but usually it's like the first episode is like the second or third episode. It was literally the last episode of the series.
No, it was second to last.
Season, by the way. There's a second season we did not watch. Let's throw that out there. Hopefully we never have to watch it again, but when we come back to the D category, it will be there, so we could watch the second season.
Yay. But it was the second to last episode because, of course, the last episode had to wrap up everything.
Mm-hmm.
And wait till we get to that ending. Wow. But I want to talk about that because here's what I don't understand. The girl, I guess we got to explain about the characters and the girls and who.
So for some reason, the entire Seraphim pilots that are there to fight the ghouls, even though they don't know they're there to fight the ghouls, they're all women for some reason.
Yeah, but the main one's there for special reasons.
Yeah, and they don't explain. I mean, we know it, but they don't explain to any of the pilots or to the main girl herself. I don't know her fucking name.
It's
why she's there.
Her name is Masaki Korea.
Masaki, there we go. They never explain to the pilots or the Misaki herself why she's there, but they do a decent job of making you wonder why, because they talk about it a couple times how she has really low scores, how she's from the reserves and gets promoted like almost instantaneously. So you're wondering why, which we all know. She was touched by the genetic when she was in the womb. Yeah. They made her part ghoul.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, okay, so she's special. She's the special pilot, but there was the main pirate, Lyra von Etani, whatever, that's her name. But she's the main pilot, and she's getting promoted, so they needed a replacement for her. And they bring in these four girls.
Yep.
Misaki, Lux Andra, which is a girl with scars on her face. With Susanna, who's southern, I guess, and then another one named Kiri. And they're
a little British.
Yeah,
a little bit, only at times, though, not always.
Yeah, no, it was strange. So, and they're competing for the pilot seat. And
which they did a terrible job explaining. You sort of find out through the dialogue episodes into their training.
Right, and pretty much there's just episodes of them just talking.
Just girls being girls, and you see them going to classes for training, but you don't actually see them training typically.
Right.
Well, sometimes you do, but it's really odd the way they do it. You see them in their suit doing things, but you don't actually see them doing anything.
Oh, yeah, you see them in their suits, all right, because their suits are barely there, but... And in between the training with the girls and stuff, they throw a couple scenes of the main, like the head of the space station, Wolfgang Worms, and like his second, I guess the alchemist guy, Jean-Luc, LeBlanc, who ends up being the antagonist. It's out of kind of nowhere, even though
you didn't expect it, because in the first episode, he's almost telling the captain of this, I don't know his name, the captain of the space station, Wolfgang, to protect the civilians, protect them. You gotta, close it off or whatever. And then, like, almost immediately after that, he just doesn't care about the civilians anymore.
Yeah, and the Jean-Luc guy has a assistant named Prime Snow White, who ends up being betraying him at the end and helping save the day and stuff like that. There's also another pilot, Kodoko 1, who is an android.
Yes. Who looks like a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they don't sexualize her too much. Her outfit is, but
no, but
they don't rip her clothes off at least.
She is literally there to die.
Yeah. Over and over again.
About 3 times she dies throughout the series. And, I forget where I was going with this. But, yeah. Oh, you know what I want to ask you? In that first episode, do you remember them mentioning about the main captain saying, she's going to come back because she's getting married in 3 days? Yeah,
and then that was kind of it. They never really brought up her being married again.
Yeah, so that was strange. I thought,
I guess that was the reason for her leaving, and then them needing to promote someone into her position.
But she was only going and promoted within the space station.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really odd. You never find her husband or anything.
No, and then they introduced this reporter, Bernard Firestar, who you think I thought at first was going to be a husband. Then I thought it was going to be the love interest for the Misaki character, but no, he's a dick and betrays her. But then he ends up getting killed.
Yep.
By the Jean-Luc guy because he found out too much about what was going on, and that came out of nowhere.
It's rough all over the place. There's no precursors. There's no foreshadowing. It's just things just happen. You don't really know why unless you can somehow connect the dots yourself.
Right. So about halfway through the series, they finally pick one of the girls to be a test pilot, the Susanna girl, who's the Southerner, and she tries I don't know what
they have to connect her to the machine, and if they don't mold properly, it's a problem. And I guess she didn't do it properly because she kept thinking about the ghoul.
Right.
And she after they tried doing it, she was like, "Nope, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore."
And this is where
Let's be a civilian. And you know what I found odd in that conversation where she said she was done? She said, "I can follow my dreams of wanting to be an engineer." And then you see her a couple episodes later, and she's a fucking janitor.
Yeah, that's because we find out that this place is even more evil than we thought, because after she decided she's not doing this, it's top secret confidential, and they take away 2 years of her life.
Yeah, they took away all her memories of the entire program.
So, yeah.
But still, engineer, your lifelong dreams, a bit longer than 2 years, to janitor.
I kind of took it as they kind of made her a vegetable and forced her into this.
If they had implied that a bit more, I would buy it, but they really didn't. Like you said, you just have to connect the dots yourself.
Yeah, but because they threw her into civilian population when they said they were sending her home back to Earth, and they didn't.
You know what? Again, I would buy that, but I think it's just bad writing.
Well, no.
And they didn't realize that they had said that.
No,
then they did what they wanted.
I understand that, but that's the impressions that I got. And it made the place seem even more evil. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, what is it with space stations being overrun by evil dictators?
I guess because it's easier to be a bit more of a dictatorship. I would assume. I mean, we don't really have space stations really yet. But I assume that, things need to be done. Dictator gets it done.
I guess that's an anime trope, huh?
Yeah, it looks like it.
All right, so let's get to so that was the end of her, because you know what's really bad about this? They showed the second to last episode first, and then they go in the first episode, and there's 2 characters that you don't see in the first episode.
Yeah.
So something's going to happen, and so that's what happened to Susanna. She got it, and then the other girl, Lakshndra, who's the distinctest feature, she's got scars. That's her character, and she gets eaten alive by a ghoul. So she died somewhere, and they were trying to build up through the series this camaraderie between the 4 girls, how they're friends and stuff.
Yeah, they tried building that a lot. They didn't do it very well.
No, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't
great.
It wasn't great either, yeah. I mean, it was probably the best part of the show, honestly.
I don't know, man.
But that's a low bar.
Yeah, it's a really low bar.
So, alright, so yeah, I think that covers everything up to where back to where I wanted to get to my original point. That last episode. So we know. Misaki, the main character, becomes the lead pilot because.
Well, her ghoul abilities not really throughout, in one episode, pretty much makes her a better fighter inside the suit. She does. Right. She can shoot everyone now. She goes from 0 to an 11, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a blue gender thing.
Well, it is, but it's cranked up. It goes 0 to 100. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, she's the only one that can actually kill the ghouls, apparently. And they promoted the other 2, too, for some reason. There was only one. Now they was like, okay, now all 3 are pilots.
Yeah.
So that was strange. But, so she gets promoted to the main pilot, and she's powerful, and she's killing things left and right. So then we get to the last episode, and we find out she's got a chip in her brain. Mm-hmm. And she can her emotions are being controlled by the Jean-Luc guy.
Out of left field. Out of nowhere.
Right.
This was happening.
Right. So you see her being taken control of. But I was so confused because they showed her in this water.
Yeah. Yep.
But then they showed...
Maybe it's a clone of her?
That's what I thought.
I'm not really sure.
I thought it was a trick between the assistant and her that... They think they have control over her, but no, he had control over her. I had no idea what was going on.
Neither did I.
I was so lost at that point.
They didn't explain any of it. You just see her looking at herself in the water. I was like, what?
I was so lost. I started looking up episode guides to figure out what the hell was going on, and nothing was giving me anything. I was like, what is going on?
And, like, I get being vague and letting, like, the mood sort of tell you what's going on, and a scene just showing you what's happening instead of telling you. But they do such a terrible job at this, you can't even say that they're doing it.
Right. And then the worst part of this is the ending. Because she goes in to fight the ghoul after, I guess, the Jean-Luc guy triggers the evacuation of the space station. They decide, because the portals are failing, they can't contain the ghoul anymore. Or he gets everybody to say, we gotta go, because the ghoul's gonna come and kill us. And then he takes over the space station, because why? What did he want again?
I don't know.
I didn't understand. He was like, he wanted to touch God or something?
Dude, I don't know. It's so bad.
Anyway, so he's controlling Misaki, the main character, and then his assistant betrays him and gets in the machine, and then overloads his brain, I guess, and he kind of his head kind of explodes, and he dies. And Misaki comes back, and she's face to face with the ghoul, and then she's fighting it. All of a sudden, time loop. Time started over. We're back 3 years as she goes back in. What was the point of that whole show?
I don't know.
It was like
Well, maybe in the second season we'll find out.
So no, we're not. My biggest gripe, just in writing in general, this isn't even an anime thing. I hate time travel stories.
I don't mind them if you do them well, but this was not done well.
Well, time travel stories always end up in two ways. It's either going to end up shittily, or it's all what's the word that makes everything unimportant?
None of it ever happened.
Yeah,
they just erase the entire show. I hate that too.
So
pretty much like it was a dream or something.
Yeah.
No, nothing happened. None of that matters.
So why did we just sit through all that?
Yes, I hate that.
I hated it so much. It just really topped off this crap piece of show with more crap, and it was just not good.
What I think is interesting is that with Excel World and Chivalry, although they're not the greatest out there, I would be interested in watching a second season. Not with this one.
No, and this one has a second season.
Would I, if it came out, if it came up on the next D roll? Yes, because that's what we're gonna do.
That's the
but
premise
I don't want to watch it. That's
our premise.
That's our premise. We're gonna do it if it pops up. But Jesus, I really don't want to.
Yeah, neither do I. What's good? The good thing is we got about 20 weeks or so before we get back to it. So maybe it'll clear down. But I don't really want to talk about this one anymore. So.
Yeah. All right. So what are you gonna grade it? I'm gonna give it a 2. It's not quite as bad as 801.
That's what I was.
It's pretty terrible.
For the first time we agree since 801. Since 801,
we agree on shit things.
So yeah, it's don't bother with this one. It's bad.
Yeah, I would stay far away. All right, so we're gonna spin the wheel for letter E.
Yeah.
There's not that many in this category, but there are a couple really good ones that I have seen. Hopefully, we get one. Let's see.
All right, spin.
Give it to us. Eden of the East. I've heard of it. Haven't watched it.
I've never heard of it, so as per usual, I never heard of it. So.
All right, next episode we will review Eden of the East.
All right, guys. See you later.
TJ and Shawn signing off.
Why do you always do that stupid rating?